Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Taking a verse-by-verse journey through the book of Genesis. Check out our other 87. We're on number 88. And we're in Genesis 43:15. This incredible saga of Joseph. Intensity, emotion, incredible stuff. Let's get started. Thanks for being here. Do check out our journeys through Proverbs, Matthew, and Romans as well. So here we are, Genesis 43:15. Joseph has been miraculously made ruler of Egypt, kind of co-pharaoh, co-regent, viceroy, as it were, viceroyal. Verse 15. You'll notice in a King James Version, there's a little flag. That's called a pilcrow right there. And the men took that present. They're going back to Egypt. Simeon is in jail in Egypt. And they took double money in their hand, because remember, Joseph restored it, unbeknownst to them, and Benjamin, the favorite of Jacob, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, that's his steward. You know, it's amazing that Joseph was such an amazing steward. Now he's got a steward. Bring these men home and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon, at lunch. Verse 17, and the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And this is a pretty amazing picture. And, you know, the English language is meant to be a pictorial language, so to speak, not like Chinese, but to bring an image into your mind. Verse 18, and the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. They didn't know why they were there. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sack's mouth at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us, take us for bondmen and our asses. So, you know, guilty minds, they've got a guilty mind for what they did to Joseph so many years before. They were probably going somewhere on 20 years or something like that. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house. Maybe he knew Hebrew. And said, oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. Verse 21, and it came to pass when we came to the inn that we opened our sacks. I always find it fascinating. There were hotels then. Wonder if it was the Holiday Inn, that they opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack. Our money in full weight, so it wasn't paper currency, it was precious stones, metals, gold, silver. And we have brought it again in our hand, and other money have we brought down, verse 22, in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. Verse 23 is fascinating, because I used to think he just lied, but let's look at the nuance. And he said, this is the steward, peace be to you, fear not, your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. So maybe Joseph been telling him about God. I had your money. He did. He had it, then he put it back. And he brought Simeon out unto them. So no telling how long Simeon's been a prisoner. They didn't care too much, it doesn't seem. Verse 24, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet and gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. Now, one of the fascinating things about the historical accuracy of this is whether it's the three men, you know, Jehovah and two angels coming to Abraham, whether it's Abraham's servant, Genesis 24, going to Laban's household, Laban's household. Just all the customs just fit perfectly. So it's very much in that time period and that culture. Verse 26, when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand. You remember, they brought some spices and nuts and that type of thing into the house, and fulfilled Joseph's dream, bowed themselves to him to the earth. Joseph the dreamer, oh my. So I'm going to read verse 25 again. For they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. They knew they weren't in trouble. They were going to eat. Verse 27, he asked them of their welfare. How are you guys doing? And said, is your father well? The old man of whom you spake. He's still putting on a front there. Is he yet alive? Verse 28, and they answered, thy servant our father is in good health. You know, he submitted to you. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance, just like the dream, obeisance. Verse 29, and he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, is this your younger brother of whom you spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son, brother, you know. And the emotion gets the best of him. Verse 30, and Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. Verse 31, he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, set on bread. Verse 32 is one of the most interesting passages in the Bible to me. It says, and they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves. So Joseph's by himself, the Egyptians are by themselves, and for the Egyptians which eat with him by themselves, and the patriarchs are by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Don't eat with the Hebrews, maybe the Habaru, the shepherds. So we're going to stop there, because that's just kind of a good way for this to keep flowing. But man, fall in love with the Bible. God bless. Talk with you later. Join us daily. We have videos of all sorts on here. And check out our other videos too. God bless. Check out our playlist. Bye-bye.